All right.
Yes,
thank you for
please move on with the full screen presentation.
For the project, and also thanks to Central Coordinator RBRL for this opportunity. My name is Eric Ziljevs. I'm recently appointed as a interim chairman of the management board at National Implementing Body of Latvia, Eiropas Līnijas. So I'm quite thankful for this opportunity, and obviously full speed ahead to achieve our commitment to deliver the operational railway by 2030. So then I'll explain what's happening in Latvia. Basically, here you can see, let's say, Rail Baltica alignment in Latvia with all the so-called point type objects. Those are mobility points or regional stations. Then we have in total 16 of regional stations in Latvia. Then we have 2 infrastructure maintenance facilities. Here, one next to Skulte and one in south part in Iecava, and those are also currently being used as a construction basis for the Mainline construction works, so to ensure all the construction logistics properly. Then we have a Salaspils freight terminal, which is here in the middle, and then we have 2 international stations, Riga Central Station and Riga Airport Station. Then also a rolling stock, as you can see it here. It's in the southern part of Riga, basically. And currently, I would say globally the works are ongoing in all those areas except rolling stock depot. And the total length of alignment Latvia is around 265 kilometers. Then about the project in Latvia, project progress in Latvia itself. If some of you has been in Riga recently, and traveled through Riga Airport, then most likely you would see the construction sites where Baltica construction are ongoing. So major construction works are ongoing in Riga Central Station as well as in Riga Airport Terminal. Here in the pictures, you could see in the beginning of this year there was also the I would say quite big ceremony, and one of the milestones were achieved of assembling together the roof structure. I mean, this is a southern part of the station. The works will be continued also to the northern part of the station itself, and the whole roof will be completed. In Riga Airport, mostly are ongoing foundation works. Now we started foundation already. Pile drilling for main terminal. And then apart from those 2 major constructions, then this year we plan to finish also the Salaspils intermodal freight terminal design works. Then ongoing designs are also for 2 infrastructure maintenance facilities in Iecava and Skulte. First building permit already was received for Iecava maintenance facility, which will be used as this construction base. Then also a huge milestone what we achieved was last year in December, where this mainline construction contract was signed. And this is really, let's say, big milestone for Latvia, having this mainline contractor on board. And also we expect to start construction works this year, but I will touch about this a bit later. Then obviously, as for every railway project, we need to acquire land, and progress is accelerating. Currently, we have covered almost 50% of necessary land units, but our let's say land acquisition team, together with Central Coordinator and with designers, are moving quite fast ahead to acquire land as soon as possible. And then we also, in parallel, are developing this railway infrastructure management model, because currently our organization is being appointed as a temporary infrastructure manager. However, it's still in, let's say, political discussions how it will be organized later, who will be the infrastructure permanent infrastructure manager. But yeah, those decisions will come later. Then first, I would quickly go through Riga Central Station construction object. So here you can see information about the project itself. I will not, let's say, repeat it, who is the author, but basically the main contractor is a joint venture from Besiks and Rere local company, and also Rizani Decker. FedEx supervision is done by Aegis and Deutsche Bahn. So what added value basically also this brings to, let's say, Riga City is that we have provisional investments already, what we plan to, to invest in this central hub, but also it's a good example how to use this Diga once approach, because also Riga City within these construction works, they see how they could also develop the infrastructure around Riga City. So also they applied for several funding for road works around Riga, for let's say adjusting their infrastructure to Riga Central Station needs and also purposes. So this for sure will change the area of Riga and will, how to say, we will transform also this, let's say, city vibe from how it is right now, having this huge embankment in between and splitting Soham city in two parts at that area. And then obviously there is a new bridge over Daugava River next to this old historical railway bridge. So also this was aligned with local authorities so that this historical bridge look and the structure is kept, so it's visible, and our Baltica railway bridge will be just next to the existing one. And we already started the construction works for the first piles in the river. And then we are also expecting the outcome of next financing call, where certain activities are also put in for this structure. Here you can see photos. As I mentioned, yes, this roof assembling, and here on the right side, those are the first pile works in river for new bridge. Then about Riga International Airport Station. Similar as Riga Central Station, construction works are ongoing. Those are done by Austrian and Latvian joint venture, BSL Infra, and design was done by ProSiv, and also author supervision is done by the same consultant, ProSiv Syntagma and Vector T. And then supervision is done by Prointech and Forma2 from Latvia. This is also a good example how to let's say show this connectivity for various transport networks, and also we have a huge, let's say, support also from our national carrier Rail Baltica about having this let's say railway hub next to airport, because this is maybe something new for Latvia, but for other European countries, central and western and other parts of the world, this is a, let's say, everyday practice to have this railway link connection to airport. Then here are some photos, as I mentioned. So mostly all the, let's say, preparatory road works were completed. The next phase had started, and now we also started the terminal foundation construction itself. Then about Mainline. So as I mentioned, last year in December, we signed a Mainline contract. Also big thanks to all our national implementing body team and colleagues who did quite huge work on this. So the scope of this contract is 220 kilometers, basically including almost all alignment. The scope which is not in this Mainline contract is this part through Riga city border specifically. And we plan to start already construction works summer this year. And Mainline contractor basically consists of three major companies. Those are Aegis, Eiffage from France, Budimex from Poland, and Derizani Decker from Italy. And then also in the same time, we have signed a contract with Fidik Engineer, who will do the major supervision for the Mainline construction, and those are basically a Italfer company. And as I mentioned, yes, so we have already received financing for the southern part of Latvia. Those are basically 13 kilometers, for which we plan to start construction in this summer. Now, contractors are checking and reviewing designs, as is typical practice, in railway construction. And then they're doing all necessary works to mobilize and then to prepare the site so that the construction works can start. And also good news, we received in spring this year, we received funding for this combined bridge construction. This was funded from military mobility activity, and also now designers are finalizing design for the combined bridge so that it will be ready for construction early next year. And this is here on the bypass of Riga, and where Rail Baltica goes. Then about, let's say, still ongoing design activities. So as I mentioned, design works foreseen to be completed by the end of this year for Southpole's intermodal freight terminal. Initial plan, was to, to provide this future connectivity for freight rail, and to have a let's say point where we can let's say transform from road to rail all the cargo, and where we have also connection with 1520 railway, existing railway tracks. Obviously, due to these recent political events that's happening in East, also Latvia itself needs to think how to change, let's say, the freight movement from east to west. Now we're thinking to prioritize south to north direction, and also this South Coast freight terminal for sure will ensure it. And also, it's not a small one, I would say, because it was foreseen also, and it's being designed to provide this full train lengths, so it's up to almost 1 kilometer, and this is also according to the Rail Baltic design guidelines. And then also the capacity of terminal is quite big, up to 2,100 tons, and also the area, it's quite huge what it takes to provide all the infrastructure around the terminal. Then about infrastructure maintenance facilities. So as I mentioned, yes, we have 2 of them in Latvia. So currently design works are ongoing, and we received first building permit approval from Southern IMF in Iecava, and so also we plan to start construction work soon with this building permit, so it will be as this construction base. So this is already ongoing, and then school time designs are also ongoing. What is important that also these IMF locations were foreseen in such a way that also it provides connectivity to existing railway, and then also these design works 1520 connections are designed so that we have also access from 1520 railway network, because we also need to ensure this supply of all those railway materials for ballast rails and sleepers and others. So this was already taken into account. Then what in relation to today's seminar, as I previously explained, mostly all the works we have covered in terms of procurement. Those which you see right now, these are currently, let's say, published or to be announced, and mostly about land acquisition services. Then we have additional one, which is about the research of required and planned competencies for Rail Baltica. This also will be, well, it's announced, and we will see the results soon. And then the last one about also integration of Rail Baltic regional stations in the public transport network. But obviously, I believe you have many questions. For example, how you could take part as a service provider or contractor or different company for Rail Baltic construction. Then you are more than welcome to approach us. We could provide contact details or direct to the right responsible person for this, how to get in touch with contractors, and we would be more than welcome to do so. That's it from my side. Thank you. So I'm ready to answer your questions.
Yes. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for the insightful presentation. Obviously, the biggest questions are related to mainline construction, considering the scale of the construction works ahead. So when can we then expect that the massive construction works outside Riga would start?
Yeah, thank you. This is a quite common question recently. So massive construction works will start in summer this year outside of Riga, and then gradually we will, let's say, move and show the construction progress next year, where we are expect to have a full-scale construction in all the south section of Latvia, then moving gradually towards the north and towards the Riga Airport direction. So yeah, but the answer is this summer.
Thank you. The next consecutive question is actually related to North that you mentioned. So what are the plans and when to start constructing also towards Estonia?
Yeah, well, first of all, together with Central Coordinator, we are also, let's say, creating this, or we have done and compiled the delivery strategy. And let's say this is a document how we implement the project. And then also, let's say, delivery strategy is based on operational sections. And then we see with which section it's more logical to start. And that's why we are going to start with south section and then moving towards north. As I mentioned, for example, we have already received funding for this combined bridge, which is in the middle, actually right in the middle of Rail Baltica alignment Latvia. And then we expect the design works will be completed as much as possible by the end of this year in the northern part, so we can start already to move towards north. But as I mentioned, so this is also aligned with contractor because we plan that there are going to be two main construction bases, one in south of Latvia, one in north, and then we let's say once we have the maturity and all the, let's say, preparatory works have been completed, then we instruct the contractor to go north. And also this is also subject to next financing calls. Once we have all those elements in place and we are moving towards north, but obviously it's going to happen anywhere, anyway, yeah. But I cannot tell you the exact, let's say, date. As I mentioned, so first is design works finished by the end of this year, then financing will be received, and next application will be prepared. So most likely, let's say, not before, let's say, end of next year for sure.
Thank you. And a question from Slido. So, and probably this is the last question to you. So you have concluded the agreement on mainline construction through public procurement. Are there any further opportunities for suppliers to still get involved in construction of mainland Latvia? And if so, then what are the steps they should take?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the question. So everybody who is interested to get in touch regarding mainline construction works, we would provide contact details, and you could approach all those representatives from a joint venture of ERB, and they would be more than welcome to respond and to include, to receive your proposal or information about your services which you provide. So yes, we could, help to get in touch with the mainline contractor.
Thank you. I don't see any more questions. Eriks, I will say huge thanks for you to join and to share this presentation. If there will be more questions, as promised before, we will publish them on the website of Rail Baltica and the websites of national implementing bodies.